Well, hi and welcome to my shop, and we're going to be continuing some work on this radio now. I just finished 15 minutes of work here, and I videoed it, but no audio whatsoever because I'm back on the learning curve here in my shop using new stuff to do these things, and I'm making mistakes. So unfortunately, now I have the microphone working properly. So let me just give you a quick review of what I did in the first video, and it's all about replacing these capacitor resistor combinations that are the cathodes, so 3 tubes in here. So the first one that I did is up in this area here. You can see it sitting there. We'll take a closer look at it here. So there it is up there, laying nicely along the chassis, connected in. Now the next one we're doing is over here. You can actually see two of them, the two green capacitors here. I'm sorry, the one green capacitor, this one here. I'm just installing this now, and I've removed, again, two of these guys out of here. And as I say, I have it all on video, and no sound at all. So now I'm just about to put the third one in, and the third one, a little bit tricky where it connects. The third one connects up here, right up in here, like this. That's a little tricky up in there, but we're gonna give it a go. It's dark for you in there, it's dark for me. That's crumb. That's cruddy. You know what? I think I'm going to let the solder sucker do its job in there too. Let's see. Come on out of there. Come on. There, got it. That'll make for a little better connection, I think. I'm pretty sure that I can get this into this little hole here. much wire got soldered in there. Doesn't feel like a whole lot. It doesn't look like a whole lot. Well, maybe that'll do it there. I think that's got it. The other end comes over to the ground here. Hey, what's going on with the video there? There we go. Funny camera. So I still have to solder these two ends. Now this guy, you know what? He's going to ground. He's got a better spot to go now. He can go way down there. Doesn't have to go where it went before. Just keeps getting worse and worse in terms of the positioning of the wire. The more I fiddle with it, that's much better there. That's good. Well, that'll solder like that. Okay, last place to make a connection here. Going for a pretty tight close-up on this, I think. Okay, now one more connection and these three cathode resistors are installed. I should be getting my new capacitor order today. Hopefully. Just doesn't like soldering to these old wires here, which are probably a little bit of corrosion on them, and maybe a touch of wax. Who knows what else? Let's see if we got this at all. Did we get it? Yeah, we didn't get that in the slightest bit. And this other one. Yeah, the other one took. I'm just gonna scrape this a little bit. That makes a big difference. You know, when they're building these radios on the assembly line and that, the designers design them so they can be built, at least eventually. I'm not so sure it was true of this one. I suppose they just got better and better at it as the years went by, making designs that were easier and easier to build. When you're doing this repair work, you have to have some similar thoughts about how you're going to approach things. Can you get your tool into that angle? Can you reach down that far? You know, that kind of stuff. It has to be given some thought. Fortunately, usually you're giving that thought at the time you realized the problem you're facing with. Just the layout of things. Okay, I'm pretty sure those guys are soldered securely there. Yeah, we'll get rid of this little tidbit here. There we are. So now I have the three resistors installed there. So I really think what I need to start this radio up and test it, and I'm going to have to solve the problem. You know, I can't start it up without putting in a big filter capacitor here. I could put the old guy back in. Could do that. Where did I go with the old one? Or for testing purposes, I could put in something a little temporary, bigger. I have large capacitors, much too large. Geez, I just don't know. I don't want to damage the radio by putting in a big filter capacitor, and then what? And then what would happen? And then what would happen? Let's say I change that capacitor from 16 to 50 microfarads. Well, let's see, 18 is almost 20, 20 is almost half of 50. How's that for stretching it? That'd be almost 3 times the design capacity. And that capacitor capacitor 32, 18. It's charging, well, where is it charging from? Through the field coil. So that guy's going to charge through the field coil. I don't suppose that's that bad, really. Could put a little resistor on the top of it to slow things down a bit. Could a fair sized resistor on the top of it. Slow things down. Once it's charged, I don't think the radio knows if it's a 50, a 16, or a 10,000 sitting there. Once it's all charged up, I think we're okay. I'm going to have to do something because I'm going to operate the radio. I'm going to want the capacitor in there, and just to make it even more difficult, have a look at the wire that I'm talking about here. Now that I start looking at this thing. Okay. So the wire that we're talking about is this one here. Look up a little bit. Up, up, up. This thing. The tape on it. Look at the wire here. The insulation's, because I bent the wire slightly, the insulation's just cracking and popping right off. And that'll be true of this wire. I'm going to have to replace it all the way down to this connection down here. And what about the upper part of it? The upper part seems flexible. This part up here. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, that's what I'm going to nip that wire right out and put in a replacement. A replacement, hey? Have to go find one.